Hello everybody, Dr. Shadi Arapich here, board certified surgeon. I am making a commencement speech for new veterinary graduates. And so with everybody doing the social distancing thing during this whole COVID times and a handful of commencement speeches coming out by prominent people, I figured although I am not prominent, I will do the same but for our veterinary class of 2020. And this is coming from somebody like me who graduated from Cornell University, quite proudly so, in 2006, and have been practicing now. This summer will be about 14 years of practice. It's been quite the ride, many ups and downs, and so I figured I would focus this commencement speech not on how the world is your oyster and you can do whatever you want, because you've obviously decided you're going to do veterinary medicine. Instead, I've decided to kind of collect sort of my vision of what a new graduate these days are going to be faced with out there in the real world of veterinary medicine, and what aspects of the profession need you to be a part of in order to change. The profession is far from perfect. We have been stuck in several of similar ruts for many years now, going on decades, and it needs to change. And the new class, similar to those who are just graduating high school, just graduating college, those of you graduating veterinary school, you are the key to changing this profession. There are many things that have been going on for too long that need to be changed, and I am hopeful that the class of 2020 and beyond will be critical to those changes. So I want to make it very clear that the ultimate goal it cannot be in your profession just your non-human patients, and it can't be your clients either. It can't be the pharmaceutical company you work for. It shouldn't be the research facility you work for, the zoo that you help with, the wildlife you care about. It can't just be that. The ultimate goal really is the culture of the profession. The culture needs to be changed, and that's where the enjoyment in this profession comes from, is the culture. I know a lot of veterinarians, of course, went into this with the idea of taking care of animals. And although that's a huge part of it, it is by no means the most influential part of veterinary medicine. It's the culture. It's the culture. Culture is the accumulation or summation of the individual person and then the organization that they are part of. It is what dictates the amount of pleasure or satisfaction, joy you have in a workplace for our purposes. It's what determines whether or not you or your colleagues are looking forward to the day. It determines how the quality of your work is. It determines how much compassion you have, how much patience you have. Does a culture in your world, in your professional world, bring you satisfaction, both professionally, financially, and personally? The culture is everything, and the culture comes from the top. And even if you don't own your own practice, you are a veterinarian, you're a doctor, and so you are automatically part of the top. And so it comes from you. We need to change several aspects of this profession in order to improve the culture. We just do. And in no particular order, I have a list of things that need to be changed. We need to stop looking at internships as an apprenticeship. It is not where veterinarians go to be slaves for a year. It's also not cheap labor. It's also not for people who only want to specialize, who want to be part of a residency. It's for veterinarians who want to have more experience, hone their interest, or professional interest, on a very specific species, and work hard to learn as much as possible as an adjunct to the basic foundation of knowledge you've acquired from veterinary school. That's what internship is. It's 5 years worth of experience in 1 year. It's intense. You will leave there in a good internship that actually push you to see as many cases as possible, talk to as many clients as possible, deal with difficult situations. It'll have you leaving the internship program being so confident you can handle any case on an emergency basis that walks through your doors. That's the internship. It's a prestigious, honorable, incredibly useful year. It's a tough year, but we can't keep going with this mindset about internships. We need to have respectfulness in the workplace. It's my second point. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean that support staff are any less worthy than you are to be there. The technicians and assistants and receptionists, the cleaning staff, the folks who stock shelves, the folks who keep track of inventory, they've been doing this a long time, longer than you have. Just graduating from veterinary school, they know a lot. And they're not doctors, sure, and they tend to see things in patterns, sure, whereas you as a doctor should know things at a very specific level. But don't dare to think for a second that those people who work really hard, who are overworked and underpaid, don't suffer from a toxic culture, from compassion fatigue, okay? They want to enjoy their job as much as you do. They want to go home feeling like they did good today, despite the paycheck. And so make sure you treat them with respect and kindness. They're your lifelines. You cannot do your job without them. It takes, on average, 4 technicians per doctor in a busy hospital to make that doctor efficient. 4. Treat them with respect. They're devoted to you, they're devoted to the practice, devoted to the pets and the clients. So treat them with respect. Can't stress that enough. We want to also make sure that you legally protect yourself. So doing things like having your contract reviewed by an attorney. You should do that. When things get ugly, things get ugly. I've worked in many different practices and worked for many different types of personalities. There's a lot of grimy veterinarians out there, even if they're successful business owners and they seem to be very friendly and on your side and extroverted and the whole thing. When things turn ugly, things turn ugly. The profession does run by money. It has to. There's no way to support the hospital and the staff and the medications and your surgical tools and all the overhead costs. Get your contract looked at by an attorney. If you have an attorney that specializes in veterinary medicine, great. Otherwise, go based on someone else's recommendations who's used an attorney before for this purpose. Have it looked at. Okay? If at any point in time you're being confronted with a human resource issue at the hospital and you feel like something's off about it, tell them, I'm going to step away from this. This doesn't feel right. I'm going to contact my attorney and get some advice. It's fine. Do it. There's no room for feelings here. You can't be afraid about hurting the feelings of your mentors or your bosses or your colleagues. You've got to protect yourself because when things get ugly, they get ugly. And it's going to turn into months or even years of anxiety and time fighting things in court and money that you're going to lose. So protect yourself legally. Liability insurance, of course, is a common thing. We need that. There are clients, it may be surprising to people, but clients do try to sue veterinarians. It happens quite often. And so you need to protect yourself with liability insurance. Very important. 4th point, veterinary medical boards are designed to protect the consumer, the client, not the veterinarian. Keep that in mind. I wish it were different, but as the way things stand now, it's not. So veterinary medical boards are only for the consumer. They're only going to hurt you. They can't help you in terms of having a case brought against you by a client of yours. Keep that in mind. Your only protection is yourself and your attorney. So make sure that you treat every single case as defensively as possible. Document all of your communications, document everything that was offered to the owners, document whatever was declined by the owners, document your thought process. You can never write too much. You can never write too much to protect yourself. You need that. 5th, the veterinary suicide rate, we all know, is high. It should be 0. It should be 0. It's only going up. And that's because of, I think, stems from fundamentally a poor culture. We don't have a support system for veterinarians. We don't have anybody standing up for the veterinarians. The veterinary medical board isn't going to do that. Your boss, when it comes down to it, isn't going to do that. Your vet school professors aren't going to do that. You need to protect yourself. You need to make sure that you stay as healthy psychologically and emotionally as possible. There is no veterinary job that's worth the amount of money you're going to make. I have, as a surgeon, have had some fairly nicely paid jobs, and I have walked away because the culture is not what I want. Because the people I work with are toxic. So suicide, we can't have it. Any profession, any person, but the veterinary profession, it's going up. It needs to stop. Keep track of your mental health. I don't care if it's working out, if it's religion, if it's going home to family and friends and your pets. You got to stay healthy. And if that practice really is making you go home and cry every night, or having anxiety, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're losing weight, you're gaining weight, you're all messed up, you gotta leave the practice. Try to change it? Sure, try to change it. If you can't, you gotta leave. If you're the owner, you're in control of how your staff members are gonna feel with that practice. There are also veterinarians in line with this thought that keep telling young people don't become a vet. And I can't blame them. It has a lot of hardships associated with it. If we're gonna keep telling young people not to become veterinarians, then what are you doing? So change the profession, make it so that you are proud when a young person wants to be a veterinarian and that you know that person is going to enter a profession that they're going to be proud of. I've known lots of veterinarians also who have changed careers. They've joined the Army, they've become chefs. At this point, I'm doing veterinary telehealth, vettriage.com, and I'm a surgeon. We've changed professions, changed careers, changed paths, because the profession has gotten way too much. We need people to change things. I've tried. So class of 2020, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to summarize with this. Stand your ground. You want a job that is a career that keeps you fulfilled. You feel good every day going to work. You feel good every day leaving work. Of course, you want to be compensated well for it, but it's not worth sacrificing what you believe in and your mental health. Support the support staff. They're there for you every step of the way. Support the young people. Power them to change things. You start it and they'll continue it. Veterinary medicine is run by greed, toxicity. It's unhealthy. We help a lot of animals, and we are held in quite high regard in society. So let's actually, what we're portraying on the outside, let's actually feel that on the inside. Let's come together. Let's set up a coalition. We can set up any kind of communication avenues for veterinarians to talk to each other. Let's fight this battle. Class of 2020, it's up to you to improve the profession, to make it what it is that made you join it to begin with. We're counting on you. Any help I can do, message me, Instagram, Facebook, my YouTube channel. It's Dr. Shadia Rafij. Thank you so much. Class of 2020, congratulations. Make this profession what you want it to be. Take care.